Hey everyone, Pratik here, back again with another video. So this is a really special episode. Today I've been talking to Aaditya Purani. He's a senior security engineer at Tesla, CTF Player, world's number one first team from Perfect Blue, Bug Bounty Hunter, penetration tester, red teamer. As a security researcher, I truly admire his work and I am obliged to have him with us today. So first of all, this video is sponsored by Integrity. So Integrity is a European-based bug bounty platform. And if you are not from Europe, still you can hunt on that program and earn some bounties in euros. So guys, what are you waiting for? Go to integrated.com and sign up using my link and earn the bounties. So without talking too much, let's get started. But first, let's roll the intro. So first of all, thank you so much, Aditya, for taking time out and joining me on my channel. I am very honored to have you as my guest.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pratik, for inviting me for the CyberTalk. It is my second time here. The first time was before 2-3 years, so
yeah,
feels like home.
Yeah, thank you. So shall we start it? So my first question is how you got started into CTF and bug bounties.
Okay, good question. So I started my cybersecurity journey back in 2014 when I started doing contests on Facebook, which got me into like sort of ethical hacking and hacking process by seeing how other team members or other contestants were trying to gain access to this contest scores and manipulate the scores, use cheat engine to hack the game scores and things like that. So that increased my curiosity in cybersecurity in general. And after that, around 2016, this is a pretty wide gap of 2 years. Within those 2 years, I was doing a bit of research of like OWASP top 10 or doing things like hunting bugs on like web code or other like Pentesting platforms. So in 2016, I started playing my first CTF. The first one was Internet Watch CTF, which I participated solo. And I ended up at around like 103rd rank by solving 3 challenges. And I found it particularly interesting because it was something new than what I was doing. I was doing bug bounty before in 2015, but this was something which was pretty new. And like there were a lot of categories like web, mobile, binary exploitation, cryptography, reverse engineering. And the first time when I did this CTF, I did like forensics, web, and like a bunch of cryptography challenge. And basically I sucked in that CTF. Like I was able to solve like 3 to 4 challenges, but that set us in me a motion of like doing this CTF or taking this CTF much more seriously and doing it regularly, because it helped me understand certain concept which I was not able to probably revisit if I was doing bug bounty. So that helped me get into CTF. And the next weekend I play another CTF, which was RC3 CTF, again by myself, and did pretty well in that CTF, scored 52 rank globally. Maybe at that time I was 3rd in India. So I had a bit of motivation boost as well, that, okay, I can do better at CTFs. And similarly, like I just kept on doing it. Like every other weekend, whatever CTF it came, I just opened CTF time. I just looked into the schedule and I was doing it. And luckily I came in 2017 in contact with a team called DCUA. And there was some interview test to join DCUA, like solving challenges with their team members as a trial membership. And like that membership lasted for around like few months, I would say like 3 to 4 months. And I would say I did well to get a full-time member in that team. And I was quite lucky to be in a group of people who were also equally motivated and also were passionate about doing CTFs. And that really helped me, the group, like learning from other peers, teaching them the techniques which I know, and progressing myself into the CTF. So that set the motion for me to dive deep into CTFs and taking CTF seriously. And I think apart from like getting knowledge in CTF, another thing which was quite good was that I can go to on-site to play CTFs, so I can meet different teams, I can interact with them, and on-site is pretty fun. Like you sit in an environment which is a pretty competitive, and I think the competitiveness was the major part for me to get into CTFs.
Yeah.
But talking about the bug bounty I started an year before CTF, when I was learning like basic concept of web security and mobile security. So at that time, I started browsing for programs in HackerOne and Bugcrowd. I was able to see some of my friends on Facebook who were posting statuses like they got bounties from different companies, and I felt it was quite motivating for me to also look into that and like Hall of Fame and other sort of acknowledgement. So that drove me towards the bug bounty, and like the first few bug bounties I did from HackerOne and Bugcrowd platform to be specific. And like at that time, a lot of companies were running bug bounties outside of this crowdsourced platform. So they had that individual independent program.
Responsible disclosure programs.
Absolutely, yeah. So they had their programs like this. So I had to like Google Doc like responsible disclosure, and we take security seriously. And
Yeah.
I used to find a list of sites, and then I used to like hunt every other sites like that. And like again, it just came naturally. Like I was doing this, and I sort of kept doing it like time to time, and everything fell in place.
Yeah, I read some of your write-ups from adityapurani.com. You got like in Google Hall of Fame, you got like 5 to 6 time duplicates, and you are already like you write about your CTF walkthrough and all. So guys, you can check his website like adityapurani.com. He's right about his findings and CTF walkthroughs. So you can check his GitHub repo and website. So that was a really great story, Aditya. So like my second question is, what is the hiring process?
Okay, another great question, Pratik. So I think the first recommendation I would drop here for people who are applying to companies is to tailor your resume as specific to the job description or the job requirements. So if you have multiple sets of copy of your resume, and one of your resume maybe focuses on the hardware side of things you do, or one of your resume focuses maybe on the software side of things you do, such as pen test or red team focus, then it will be really helpful to perform a targeted application in different companies. So that was definitely my approach in the companies which I was applying, and the position which I applied was a security engineer position in red teams. So my skill sets which I'm showing or I'm selling through my resume should reflect through a skill set a red team member or a red team operator should have. So I designed my resume based on that, and I compiled the years of my experience and the internships I did in my past, and like a sort of pen testing side of things which I used to do in Hack the Box and other sort of box hacking challenges. So I compiled and transcribed that in my resume while applying. I would recommend to people who are applying to companies is that mention everything, whatever you mention in your resume, make sure that you know about those skill set.
Yeah.
Like don't mention something to make your resume look like superficial, like mentioning 10 to 15 skill set, but you know 5 of them, because like it is a pretty generic for all the companies that whatever you mention in a resume, it's considered to be a sort of truth. So I personally write things which I know definitely about, like languages or skill set, or things like build infrastructure like Docker or Kubernetes. If you have worked with it, you better write it down in your resume. So that's what I did. And another suggestion which I would say to anyone who is applying to these companies, make sure your presentation skills or your conversational skill is good, because we are like cybersecurity cybersecurity people, and sometimes we are like, most of us like are kind of introverts as well, so we don't talk, or we don't have like a lot of good conversational skill compared to other fields. So I would say like just practice your conversational skill, because presentation skill is gonna be important. I would say even in your future as well, because you might have to present to your manager or like other team when you train other team on something. So that is something which you should definitely practice alongside with the technical skills.
So, Aditya, my next question is: you are in the CTFs, one of the best team in the world, Perfect Blue. Do you still play CTFs? Do you organize CTFs? What is your favorite category when it comes to the CTFs?
So I do play CTFs, but not as much as I used to play before. So like it significantly dropped the amount of events I play in a year. So back in 2018, when I was a student, I used to play every weekend. But after like 2019, end of 2019, 2020, and this year, I just only play the big events, which are the events which are rated like around like besides or played CTF, HitCon, CTF, and other big events. Like there are top 10 to 15 events, which I can also share the list, which you can probably post in description or something.
Yeah,
but
sure.
those are the events which I participate into with Perfect Blue, and every team, all the members of the team also participate in those events. So those are the sort of events which we participate in full strength. But outside of that, I don't get much time on the weekends to like participate into every other CTF. But the big events are the ones which I play, and they are still very intellectually rewarding. I learn something new, and it's a lot of lessons you get from those events. So that is something I do right now. Like for this year, I just played around like 4 to 5 events, like the big events. Like the last CTF I played was like the DEF CON qualifiers. We played it pretty casually, and we are going to Vegas to play DEF CON finals in 2 months. So it's like around like 15 teams competing for like the Olympics of CTF. So right now our team is like doing development based on that and preparing for the final event in 2 months. So that's what it is. And regarding the favorite categories of mine in CTF, I would say I do web application, like web challenges. I do cryptography. That is something which I do. And a mobile category, forensics, I do, and sometimes reverse engineering. But on the right hand, if I would say the categories I do, it's web.
Okay. And I think I see you organized the CTF also, like in previous year in 2020. So what is your experience like? You are playing the CTF, so when you organize the CTF, like what are the challenges you are facing?
Yeah, organizing a CTF is completely different than playing a CTF in my perspective. So the last year I organized CTF alongside with Perfect Blue, known as PB CTF, if you see, and it got around like full ratings, around 24 rating out of 24.83 out of 25 ratings. So it was a pretty successful event, and a bunch of big teams also played. But like organizing, you have to do numerous tasks. The first one is to preparing challenge. So when you prepare a challenge, like you are putting those challenges as a part of a top team of CTF time. So the challenges should also be top level challenges. So it is something where you need to design the challenge in a way that, number one, the challenge should not be guessy. So the teams who are playing, they shouldn't feel like that your challenge requires a lot of guesswork, a lot of like brute forcing and things like that. Your challenge should be intuitive in a way that when people see the challenge or see the source code, they should be able to know like what is the next step they need to focus on. They shouldn't be like completely lost and like bother admins like how to do. So that is one thing when you design a challenge you need to take care of. Another thing is, while designing a challenge, you need to make sure that the concepts you are putting behind the challenge is something which is a real world concept. Like you don't need to put something like which is hyperficial. Like let's say if I create a challenge and I put like 10 obfuscation on the binary, like from online, like VM protect or and things like that, then it is not an intellectually rewarding challenge, and it is something that players are not going to learn anything, because it is something where I'm using proprietary obfuscation code and I'm just applying challenge. It's a pretty low effort challenge in terms of design. So as a challenge designers, what we focus on is we search for various concept in real world. Like if you go on Reddit and you see a Reddit subforum like NetSec, or if you keep up to the trends of real world exploits, that is something we try to translate in CTF. For example, if there is a bug in like VMware, then we try to find that bug and we try to write our code and put similar to those kind of bug in our challenges. So it translates from a real world product
real world
to
process
our product.
Yeah.
Our product.
Yeah.
And the third thing which we look while designing the challenge is that we have to play test the challenge. So let's say if I create a challenge, then I pass the challenge to do some QA, like quality assurance from other team members.
Yes.
So they taste my challenge and they see that if there is a possibility to solve this challenge outside of the intended solution. So we ensure that the challenges should not have some false positive unintended solutions, which people can easily solve on a very hard challenge, which I thought of. So this three aspect is something which we look into, and then we have internal meetings. We gather our team and we sort of rate challenges and their difficulties from 1 to 5. And once we have that difficulty, we design like timeline on when to release the challenge, because we don't want to overwhelm our players by putting all the hard challenges in one side. So we designed our CTF in a way that even the people who are new to CTFs or the experienced people, everyone should learn. So people who are new to CTFs, they shouldn't feel like that, oh, these are too hard challenges. Or people who are experienced in CTF, they shouldn't feel that, oh, these are too baby challenges. So we try to design in that way. So it's completely different than playing a CTF, I would say.
Yeah, that's great. I just see on the Twitter, there is a one tweet will be very trending on like about blue jeans challenge. I think that is social engineering. I know that challenge you are doing. Can you please give some like what are you doing on the challenges?
Yeah, totally. So it's sort of one of the most viral tweet, I would say.
Viral tweet, yeah.
The CTF.
When I see, but I know that this what the person is will be, I am sure, Aaditya Purani.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was the one behind it. And so the thing which happened was there was a CTF last year known as Dragon CTF, which is hosted by Dragon Sector, one of the best team, I would say, in CTF, and they have the best CTF. So they had this challenge in one of their category, which involved a blue jeans software, which is a kind of software like Zoom, like a remote video communication software. Okay. And the goal was to find a vulnerability within the blue jean package, which allows you to read file from the system. So the design was like there is a blue jean software running on a remote host, and then you get access to that server as a normal user, but you have to exploit the process which is running the blue jean, the user which is running the blue jean, and you have to perform sort of privilege escalation by using the blue jean client. So the thing happened was like we saw this and the team got overwhelmed that we have to find a 0 day in this blue jean product within like 10 hours of the CTF, and nobody solved it until the end. There is one team which solved, I think, which was LS team, a German team. I think Live Overflow solved it. Yeah. So yeah,
like, I saw that tweet, but yeah, we can't discuss that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a very good tweet sequence, I would say. So we downloaded this package of blue jean, and I was the one who was trying to find a 0 day in this blue jean, because I thought that a 0 day is the only way to solve that challenge, and I think the intended solution was not using 0 day. So we tried to reverse engineer this package. We tried to see like what are the ways where you can do privilege escalation and things like that. And what we thought that, okay, that if the server is placed remotely and if a blue jean client can access it, then probably what we can do is we can maybe ask support of the blue jean and maybe tell them that, can you see on your server that you can find a log where you can see a flag call like to Dragon sector with curly braces. And so I talk my team members that let's contact the Blue Jean support and ask them, maybe social engineer them to provide us the flag if it is stored on a remote server. So that was my kind of hunch, that I would ask their employee or their support member to give us the flag. But in fact, I didn't ask them anything, but I created this meme on one of the site where you can design tweets. Like a tweet DM, one of the most famous, I would say, site on Google. So I typed like design fake Twitter DMs, and it was the first link. And I used this fake Blue Jean support and my account, and I created this sort of chat sequence in which I'm asking them to provide me a flag, and they are like, okay, let us check our system and we'll come back to you. And after a few minutes, they come back and they give me the flag. And I posted this in our internal chat of Perfect Blue, and everyone believed it at that time, and everyone tried to validate that flag, and everyone is like, it's not working. How? And like, it's insane you managed to get a flag like this. And everyone was so trolled for like 30 minutes, like all the members got trolled. And I was like, no, it's not a real flag, but it is something just to de-stress ourselves from the reality.
Okay.
And at last, after the CTF, everyone said that we should put it on Twitter because this is something which is a very insane problem. And it is something which also could be possible in real life, I would say, where you can social engineer companies.
Best attack.
Targeting the companies themselves to do social engineering. And the response we had for the tweet was insane. Like, it went viral pretty quickly. But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya, for this answer. So my next question is, do you do bug bounties in your free times? Because I know after 2017 or 18, you don't active on like HackerOne or something. You have something like 500 or 600 plus reputation on H1. So do you do bug bounties when you have the free time? And what is your best finding? I know about your address bar spoofing on Brave browser.
Right. So in terms of, I would say, public findings, like, so for me, like bug bounty now not only involves like participating in HackerOne or BugCrowd, but like I also like do vulnerability research in which like I directly report to the vendors, for example, the companies which are managing those products. So bug bounty is definitely a part of me right now as well, but it is not something I do like on during my personal time or something on like BugCrowd or HackerOne. But like recently I participated in few bug bounty programs on HackerOne where I submitted a bug in like, I would say, one of the most famous app, a code execution on one of the most famous app, which is currently under the remediation process, but it is something which I plan to probably disclose or share information to the public, which is, I would say, one of my most best findings, this bug, which is not even disclosed right now, but I reported it via HackerOne. So it is something I do right now, but like when I do bug bounty, like the main motivation for me right now is not the bounties itself, but it's about the product which a company is running. So right now, during my independent time, I focus on like Electron.js, which is a sort of framework for desktop app. I focus my research on Electron.js. So companies which are running this Electron.js framework as a part of their desktop clients is something which amazes me more. So I try to participate in those bug bounty programs which are compliant to the research which I'm doing on my independent time. So I don't participate in programs which provide high bounties or like a random program out of nowhere, because like it's just too much time consuming for my side, and I try to balance the sort of work I do and like sort of free time I have. So not really I'm doing like targeted bounties, but like the bounties which I feel like, for example, like Ethereum blockchain, like a Bitcoin or Ethereum sort of frameworks, or Electron.js framework, or something which I see like a program which just catches my eye, then probably I would participate in those programs. But it is something not like I would say at the top of my list sort of thing. If it excites me, I would do it.
It means like you want to like like different kind of application you want to like the pen test, not like specific type.
Yeah, it's not like specific company which I would target. For example, I don't right now. I would not pick up like a company X and stay with it throughout. But if I feel like I have a good bug on company X, such as RC, I would probably move to company Y. But if let's say if I'm like a full-time bug bounty hunter, probably I would not do this approach. In that case, I would probably stick to one target and
Okay.
stay true to that target, because in that case I would have much more intel and much more like information on that particular target, and I have much more chances to find deep level issues. So I would probably change my approach in that case.
Got it. So are there any bug bounty hunters you like to collaborate with on Hackone or Bugcrowd?
Yeah, so I think I would like to collaborate with Bug Bounty with certain folks. Like there is one guy in our Perfect Blue known as Vax William, and he's really amazing at Bug Bounty stuff. Like he has found GitLab, GitHub RCs,
Oh,
and his skill set is something which I feel like if we both collaborate, we can definitely find a lot of bugs in other big such infrastructure products. So I would definitely any day collaborate with him on Bug Bounty. So definitely something which I look forward to when I join doing Bug Bounties full time, or even if I have more time, I'll definitely ping him and definitely do some collaboration with him. And outside of that, like I have one of my friend who is really good at binary exploitation, like CTFs. He's also really famous on Twitter as well. He does all his memes and things like that. He's also from Perfect Blue, and I feel like his binary and reverse engineering skill set is something which would supplement my skill set in web apps and cryptography. And if we both mix our skill set, we can also produce like a really immense result. So definitely those two are the folks which are immediate to me in Perfect Blue, which I definitely look forward to do some collaboration with them in terms of Bug Bounty.
Yeah. So Aditya, my next question is, how do you know or get motivated while working, and your partner name which help you in your success?
Okay, good question. So I would say like in terms of success, like the people who helped me, I would say there are like bunch of people. Like even if I name, it will be less, because everyone plays a different role in leveraging your ability to perform or giving you a chance to do something. So there are like a lot of people. For example, the folks which I used to work on when I was back in India during my internships, or like my manager, which motivates me during my day-to-day work in like my current work, or like other internships which I used to do, which definitely helped me to boost my career and like boost my career progression. So I would say there are a lot of this sort of individuals which are helping me as a gesture of like goodwill, and as a gesture of their own knowledge, which are exceptionally intellectual individual, and they help me motivating me to do new things and to achieve greater heights. Because before I was not doing, for example, I was not doing blockchain before, but like when I used to play this CTF known as Seesaw, and I failed doing this blockchain challenges, some of my friends who were doing blockchain, they told me that this is something you should also explore, and they were definitely sure that you can do it. And they provided me resources on how to get going with this blockchain sort of field. And I mean, I did it after that. So it is those sort of individual pushes which I receive from these different folks, like members from DCUA or like members from Perfect Blue, who are really good at what they do. And that is something which keeps on motivating me. I would say it also translates me to motivating as well. And I myself keep on motivating by doing things like CTFs, or like hunting bugs in obscure products, or like products which a lot of people don't hunt bugs, or a lot of people do hunt bugs but don't find bugs. So I would say it is something which motivates me, like the security field in itself, because it is something I have signed up myself to in the rest of my career. And every day when I wake up and I try to do assessments or engagements, I do it with my whole heart, because it is something which motivates me. Even if I don't find bug, it's fine. I don't lose my motivation. I just try to do my best or try to learn in order to get myself overall over round. So right now I'm learning new things like binary exploitation, which I don't usually do, like heap-based exploitation. So I'm doing some coursework to teach myself that, also doing some sort of machine learning and other sort of career progression. So that is something which I do in my free time. So I just don't want to be stagnant in what I do, like web, crypto, or reverse, but I want to motivate, or I want to just extend my skill set, because at the end of the day, I see as an ideal myself as someone who is not reliant on folks from different categories. Like if I'm doing binary, I should be able to know binary. It's hypothetical for people to know everything, but at least I feel like I should maybe get to know things from different fields.
Yeah, basically, you are doing the CTF and you have a really great knowledge when it comes to the reverse engineering, binary exploitations, blockchains, web applications, mobile pen testing. You have really deep knowledge about these topics. Because I just want to tell about the audience, we are a friend since like from 2014, and when I started, I don't know about anything when it comes to the ethical hacking and all these things. So he told me about. He gives me the totally 5 years of plan, what you have to do. I just tell him I just need a good job. So he tell me like, you have to do your bachelor's. After you have to finish your bachelor's, there is a one college called Gujarat Forensic Science University. So when I am in 2015 and 16, I think no one wants know about that college, but he told me like, bro, you have to just finishing this graduation and all this stuff, because my parents just don't allow me to go to the foreign. So I have to do my bachelor's in India, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's helping me in any way. So thank you, brother, for
Yeah,
always
no
supporting
problem.
me and motivating me. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely, Pratik. Yeah, that was really great. And I think the work which you did, like in those 5 years, the way you followed on path A to path B was also really exceptional. And like kudos to you on getting and achieving all sorts of merits which you have done. So
yeah.
great work.
Thanks.
Yeah. And also, like, one thing I would like to also add here, that a lot of folks who are also new in security, or like people who are doing security but they don't have any actual goal, they approach me and ask this question, that should I do bug bounty, or should I do CTFs, or should I do hack the box? And my answer to them is that ideally you should do all those three things, because from my side, I did all those three things. And I would say in what aspect it will help. Let's say if you do bug bounties, for example, bug bounties will help you, let's say in the enumeration side of thing, or information gathering
Information
side of
gathering
things,
skills.
which CTF or hack the box won't usually provide you. Another thing which bug bounty will help you is that you will get an idea of how the apps or the real world companies, how they work. Like for example, let's say if you are targeting google.com, then you will learn over time that how Google's app work, what sort of subdomains they have, what sort of features they have, how that API works, and things like that. So that is something which you can learn of different companies, like how their microservices are and how their business models are and things like that. Third thing you will learn from bug bounty, which you probably won't get knowledge from other things, is you will learn how to get logical bugs, or bugs which have business impact. In CTF, when you find bugs, you will never find bugs which will have business impact. Their goal is to exploit technical bugs to find flag. But bug bounty will definitely help you to increase your logical way of finding issues. And another thing is, like, you will have an all-round experience on different set of apps and black box pen testing, because most of the bug bounty, you don't have source code to begin with. If you're lucky, you will have an open source project, but you won't have. So these four things you will learn from bug bounty. Now, next thing is CTFs. CTF is a pretty focused area. So CTF will definitely boost you in terms of exploitation. Like your exploitation skills will be really great. Like if you have any web application firewall, you will definitely bypass it within a second. Or like SQL injection, you will know how to bypass a WAF. Or like doing obscure attacks like web cache poisoning or access leak, which you don't usually see much in real world scenario, like prototype pollution and things like that. Those things you will learn from CTFs. Definitely, it is the best thing for you to have technical in-depth knowledge about it, and you should definitely do it. I recommend it to everyone. And the third thing is hack the box. So hack the box is something, let's say you want to become a pen tester or you want to become a red team member, a successful red team member, then hack the box will definitely help you. Because for Windows or Linux bots, you will learn how to do privilege escalation. You will learn how to do lateral escalation, or like get access to Active Directory, for instance, or things like that, which you will never learn, or most likely not learn from Bug Bounties nor CTFs. But that thing you will only learn from Hack the Box, to do how to do a sort of pen test, like using nmaps, or like things like using some custom tools for Active Directory, or like writing custom tools like PowerShell scripts, like bash scripts to get privilege escalation or Linux kernel exploits and things like that. So all three has its own set of advantages and own sets of rewarding characteristic. So I would say try to balance out all those three, and probably you will have a really good fundamental base.
Yeah, that's a really great answer. So you almost cover about CTF versus bug bounty and how CTF will be useful in when it comes to the bug bounty. Yeah, that's a really great answer. So my last question is, what's your strategy to recover after getting burnouts?
Yeah, burnout is, I would say, happens to me like numerous times. So like when I'm burned out, like last year, like when I was doing a lot of CTFs, it was like, okay, I was over the limit when it came to CTF, and I basically stopped doing CTF for like a week or two. And usually when I'm like mostly burned out, what I do is like I go out, follow like my other hobbies, like I do photography, for instance, and things which I like to do, like I hang out with my friends, do photography, explore new places, because like in the Bay Area, there are a lot of good places for hiking. If you are into hiking, I like doing hiking and things like that. So I go on doing hiking, I meet my friends, like do some get together, maybe play volleyball or soccer, do things like going to gym, maybe more often on those sort of days. Maybe if I'm like a sort of angry or something, I would probably try to relax myself in those sort of activities, and just basically try to deload myself from the thing which I am overwhelmed on. For example, like the bug bounty reports or the duplicates and things like that, and give myself room to recover and like get into a perfect normal way and have a fresh head start afterwards. So I would just do things which I like. Like if I like to do music, then probably I'll just do piano and things like that. If I want to go outside, I'll just go outside with my friends. And I think that definitely helps, like staying away from the machine and staying away from like all those sort of things which you already were stressed from, like, and then you de-stress yourself. That definitely helps. And another thing which helps is like you read blog posts and things like that, you feel refreshed. Also it helps you to be motivated, like how other people or other folks in the community are doing and their exceptional work, and also you learn something out of it. So it's a sort of win-win. You're not doing something, but you learn it, and just relax. I would say no need to like overwork yourself.
Yeah, so almost the question is finished. So thank you, Aditya, for taking time out and doing this great video. So almost the question is over. So guys, if you have any question, you can ask in the comments. And if you are new on my channel, make sure guys you press the subscribe button, and don't forget to press the bell icon. So whenever I upload the video, you will get the notification. So Aditya is also write some blogs about CTFs and some findings about the bug bounty. So you can check his website, adityapurani.com, the displays here. You can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Okay, but he's very active on Twitter. So make sure guys you don't like fully DM on like LinkedIn and personal accounts like Instagram. So Twitter is a great way, like if you want to connect with the researchers. So the Twitter links and all the we discuss about kind of resources, I mentioned in the description. Apart from that, if you have any question, you can tag him on Twitter and you can ask the questions. If
Thank you, Pratik, for inviting me on this talk. It's always pretty pleasant having a cyber talk and tech talk where we discuss about things like that, and also something which I think that the community, people who are really new to cybersecurity, or people who don't have any direction, or people who get demotivated, I feel like this sort of cyber talk series which you are running is definitely going to be helpful for everyone, for the community itself. So awesome work which you are doing here. And definitely, if anyone has any question, as Pratik mentioned, feel free to communicate to me on Twitter, and I will try my best to answer. And also, if you put in the comments on his video, I'll try my best to answer there too.
okay, so this is Pratik Dabhi. Over and out.